Hi, I'm James with WTB and I want to show you how easy it is to set up your TCS 2.0 tubeless system. The components you need for this setup are your TCS 2.0 rim, your solid strip, now don't worry, that comes with every TCS 2.0 rim, your TCS Tubeless valve, and finally your TCS Tubeless tape. It's really important that when you're choosing the size of your TCS rim tape that it's 5mm wider than the inner rim width of the wheel you're going to be taping. This rim is an I-25 and I'm going to be using 30mm rim tape. Step number one, we're going to thoroughly clean the rim. So I'm going to use some rubbing alcohol, put plenty on a nice clean cloth and really give that rim surface a clean. If there's any dirt or old residue from old tape or anything, then it's really important we get rid of that so that the new TCS tape sticks properly. I'm going to go all the way around and make sure the entire rim is really clean. If you haven't got rubbing alcohol, any good cleaner, degreaser that leaves absolutely no residue is fine. Like disc brake cleaner, that kind of thing. All does a really good job. Okay, once the rim is nice and clean, we're going to go ahead and inspect it for any damages, cracks, dents. If you come across anything or you're unsure, just consult your local dealer and let them take a look. The next step is to install your solid strip. Now this comes fitted to the rim when they're new, but it has to be removed when you build the wheel. So it's really important that we put this back on when setting your wheels up for use. Starting off at the valve hole in the rim, line the valve hole in your solid strip up and hold it there nice and tight while you go around the rim and install the solid strip all the way around. It should sit nice and neat in the channel. If it needs any adjustment, you can just grab a hold of it and slide it back and forth until the valve holes are perfectly aligned. So once the solid strip is installed, I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit more rubbing alcohol and give the rim another clean, making sure I'm cleaning on top of the solid strip because your TCS rim tape is going to sit on top of your solid strip. Once we've prepared and cleaned the rim properly, it's really important we leave it to fully dry before we install our TCS rim tape. Really important you choose TCS rim tape that is 5mm wider than your internal rim diameter. The reason being your rim tape isn't going to travel just a straight line across the rim, it's going to follow the contours down into the channel and back up. So you're going to lose that 5mm extra distance following the contours of the rim. So the next step I like to do, sat down, I just find it a little bit easier to apply good pressure to the tape when you're seated. So you're going to start and end your taping of the rim close to the valve hole. It's actually going to overlap the valve hole, so it'll cover the valve hole twice. I'm going to start the taping 3 spokes to the side of the valve hole. And when I start, I'm going to get it nice and central, pressing down, making sure it's seated in the channel. To get it going, I'm going to hold the end and I'm going to pull, really pull on the tape. If you pull nice and hard, it'll conform and sit in that channel nicely as you go around. And you're just going to do the same all the way around the rim. So pulling nice and tight, plenty of pressure on the tape as you're going, all the way around. So as you can see there, I'm really pulling on this tape, which is dropping it into that channel nicely. And you'll get a real nice adhesion between the tape and the rim. So once you've completed your full lap of the rim, we're going to end the tape about 3 spokes to the other side of the valve hole. So we started on one side by 3 spokes and we're going to finish on the other side by 3 spokes. So let's double check that. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to finish off the rim tape in exactly the same way, pulling it nice and tight until it gets real close to the end. Keeping an eye that it's sat central in the channel. And when you get to the end, make sure you're pressing to make sure it's sat down exactly where it needs to be. We want real good adhesion between the two layers of tape. So I like to finish off by going around the rim all the way and pressing down to make sure it's stuck nice and tight and nice and solid all the way around. So because we're taping over the solid strip, when you go around and you're pressing down, you can see the red colour coming through where it's stuck down. Really good. So when you go right to the end, really make sure that's pressed down right into the grooves, and then your rim's ready for the valve. So for example, we have an I-25 rim here. I've used 30mm rim tape, and that allows the rim tape to sit down, follow all the contours, and then sit nice and neat up against the inside of the rim. So when you add a tyre, there's a nice clean seal between your tyre and the tape. So once you've finished installing the tape, we're going to install the valve. I've located the valve hole. I'm going to get a really sharp blade and make real carefully a small incision there. I'm going to turn the blade 90 degrees and do exactly the same. Do one more small cut. That'll leave us with almost a X-shaped mark where the valve is going to go through. The next step is you're going to get your TCS Tubeless valve, remove the valve cap and the valve nut, and you're going to insert it right where you made that little X, straight through the valve hole. Once it's through, get your valve nut, put it back on, all the way down to the rim. Now you're going to want to get this pretty much as tight as you can with your fingers. So it'll help if you push down on the valve and keep turning it nice and tight to create a good seal between the valve and the rim tape. So now I'm going to fit my TCS tubeless tyre. Make sure you check the direction and line your wheel up so they're both pointing the correct way. For me, a really important detail is to get your WTB logo lined up with the valve. It's a great place to start. Holding that tyre in position, you're going to go around and install one side or one bead of the tyre all the way around, making sure that it's sat nice and deep in that channel. If your bead's not sat in that channel, if it's sat up here on the rim, then it's going to be really difficult to install the other side. So make sure it's nice and deep in that channel and you're going all the way around. So if you've installed one side of the tyre and your logo isn't lined up with the valve, we can still fix it. If you grab hold of the wheel, you can still adjust the tyre so that everything lines up nice and neat for the pro look. Once we've installed one side of the tyre, we're going to go ahead and install the other side, starting opposite the valve. That makes life a lot easier. You're working around the bead to make sure it's down in that channel again. If the bead is not sat down deep in that channel, it's going to make your job really difficult when you get around the other side. I'm just going to feed it all the way around until I get down close to the valve. So once you've installed the bead almost all the way around the rim, you've got a nice open pocket here. It's a great place to add some sealant. When you've measured your sealant out, you can go ahead and pour it straight in the tyre. For this tyre, I'm going to put 2 cups of sealant in there, and I'm going to add my second cup in the same way. Personally, I like to use a little bit more sealant than recommended, just for that added peace of mind. So what I'm going to do next is that pool of sealant, I'm going to rotate the wheel so it goes around and it sits up here so it's contained. It's not going to spill anywhere, and it'll allow me to finish off installing the tyre. Making sure that the bead is sat in that channel all the way around. You're going to finish off at the valve, pulling up. So final step is to inflate the tyre. As you can see, our TCS 2.0 system inflates nice and easy with just a track pump. Satisfying sound. So once you've inflated your tyre, make sure you give it a good bounce to get that sealant inside coating right the way around the tyre. And when you've done that, add a valve cap and you're good to go.